Welcome to Relics Radio, your favorite weekly podcast dedicated to the metal detecting and treasure hunting community. Here are your hosts, Ken from Adventures in Dirt and Tony from 5280 Adventures.
Hold on, give me a second. Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, it's got it. Where's this one go? What? Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hey, everyone. DK here from Adventures in Dirt. Welcome to Relics Radio, where we're getting a little bit of a late start with some technical difficulties tonight. You know, we got to have our grandkids come over sometimes to show us how to hook this stuff up. And like Tony and I always say, we are professionals. You can see it right there. I'm going to bring on my other professional right now. Mr. 5280 Adventures himself, the professional.
You had me rolling. Oh my gosh. I did not expect that. I'll just let you all know he did not tell me he's going to do that. And we came out of that intro and he's fumbling around. I was laughing. I almost fell off my chair. That was hilarious.
Well, that's what we were chatting
Good intro,
about
man. Good
yeah.
intro. I like that.
Saying how much trouble we were having with our wires and stuff. I just had to.
That's hilarious, man. Good job.
Oh my god.
Well, hey, buddy.
You,
another Wednesday, huh?
It is another Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to saying Wednesday now.
I know.
I rarely say Thursday anymore.
Oh, I'll call you out when you mess up. Don't worry about that.
I know you will. Oh. Hey, welcome back to sunny Colorado. Well, sometimes sunny Colorado.
Yeah, we had some storms yesterday.
Man,
some big storms, right?
This week.
You got
this week.
Did you get some? You got some hail though, didn't you?
We got a lot of hail. Twice this week. We've been woken up at 3 a.m. with an alert on our phone saying red alert, softball size hail in your area. Man. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wake up in the morning. My garden's gonna be gone.
Oh.
But thankfully, it's missed us. It's hit all around us, but it's missed us. So.
Okay, I was worried you're gonna wake up to. I'd seen pictures of like broken windshields and you know the hail going right through the windshields. I mean, it was crazy. We got some heavy rain, but no hail down here, so I was all right. And I don't have a garden, so we're good.
It's been brilliantly hot though. I mean, I think we're expecting 100-degree weather next week and into this weekend.
It's been pretty warm.
Yeah.
Yep. But you know what? The one good thing about this, we do not have humidity like frickin' state of Ohio has.
Ohio has humidity? I've never been to Ohio, so I have no idea.
Oh my Lord. I don't think I've sweat that much in years, and I'm not exaggerating. It was probably 70 degrees out, and my shirt was completely sopping wet. I had sweat pouring, not dripping. It was pouring off my face. It was stupid. Absolutely stupid.
Well, you were just out there, right? Like maybe everyone doesn't know, but you just took a trip to Ohio.
I did.
Tell us a little bit about that trip.
I don't want to talk much about it, but yeah.
All right.
So yeah, made it out there and got to dig with a whole bunch of people. Got some people actually in the chat that I got to dig with. Thin Blue Diggers, Nick. I went out digging with him and Don from Detection Connection. We went out on this past Saturday. Had a great time. Found some decent stuff for sure. Some interesting finds and just had a really good time catching up with them. It's tough because they hunt a lot in farm fields. So, you know, they're like, you're coming in June. You know that they plant corn in right. April and May. You know that, right?
Right.
So we got to hunt some farmhouses, but they kept telling me you gotta get your podcast host over there, DK, come out after Halloween. We'll get out in those fields and we'll get on some the Ohio Wheaties. You know, they call the large scents the Ohio Wheaties. So
well, maybe we can do that. That's some notice. You know, I can plan for that. That'd be a lot of fun. Boy, you were sending me texts, you were sending me messages saying how much fun you were having and how cool
it was a great time
where you were digging with. And
oh man, you know, awesome. I made a post on my face on 5280 on Facebook. The trip really honestly 100% became the 5 guys that I got to dig with. And we're going to actually have one of them on as a guest tonight. So we'll maybe talk a little bit about the weekend. But I also got to meet the 2 Bills that are always supporting us, that are always in the chat, Ohio Relic Hunter and Bill Hayes. So I got to meet those guys in person.
Did Bill Hayes wear his red pants?
You know what? I said, I'm so disappointed in him. He did not wear his red pants. That's the only reason I wanted to go dig with him.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, I invite you to go back in the history here at Relics Radio and find the interview with Bill Hayes and you'll know all about the red pants. That was so great, man. I'm glad he shared that in pictures with us. That was awesome.
And pictures too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I got to, so real quick before we bring our guest on, I just wanted to say before he can interrupt me in anything before we bring him on. So I've talked with the Bills before. They're here on the podcast all the time. I talk with Nick and Don, offline and things like that. Now, I had some free time and I reached out to Ohio History Hunter. And I know him from Facebook. He's very, very, very busy on Facebook, which I absolutely love. And he's in Northeastern Ohio, which is where I grew up. And I just reached out on a whim. I'm like, hey, listen, I've scheduled, out of my 4 days, I've got 2 days that aren't scheduled. Would you have an opportunity maybe to take me out? I'm willing to do anything with you, because he's busy with a whole bunch of different stuff.
Sure.
You know what he did? He goes, you know what? Give me a second. I'll set something up. Within like an hour, he goes, all right, we're meeting Friday at this time at this location. I'm going to take you out to some sites. Just jumped. Wow. Took me out. I mean, just an incredible. I mean, we know how we talk about this community being so incredible, and it was incredible to meet Scott, dig with him, share stories, and I wanted him to come on the podcast and really share to kind of everybody that we touch on the podcast about what he does for not only the metal detecting community, but the history community in Ohio as well. He's very, very busy with a lot of different things. And in fact, he messaged me as I was driving home. He says, hey, just to let you know, I might be busy. I'll be very busy tonight with the podcast and this. He's got an interview on the news or something coming up. This reporter wants to talk to him. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll take care of it all. Don't worry about it, Tony.
Gosh. Well, that's awesome, man. That's great people in this community for sure, man. And glad to hear stories like that. So
absolutely.
Well, let's bring them on, and then maybe we shout some people out after we bring them on initially. Maybe we can shout some, or do you want to shout some people out real quick?
No, let's bring them on. All right, Relics Radio. We've got Mr. Ohio History Hunter, Scott Power, on with us tonight. Scott, how's it going, bud?
How's it going? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Scott. We appreciate you.
I apologize for it taking so long, as Tony now has seen firsthand. I don't know if I'm coming or going half the time.
No, you're jumping on the hand grenade. I'm gonna come clean. I sent the link to a Gmail account with no L to @gmai.com, and obviously that's not going to go to Gmail. So you're texting me, you're like, I didn't get anything. So
gamai.com.
Gamai.com apparently is not a proper email address. So the late start tonight is completely my fault, and I appreciate you being open and at least coming on with us.
Anytime.
Of course, we're going to have some guy, Joe, jump on from gamai.com. You'd be like, hey, you guys sent me this link. I'm here. What's going on?
Yeah, who knows where it went to, huh?
Keep your eye on that green room down there, Tony.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hey, first off, I want you to kind of introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, what you do. They may not be familiar with you, and just kind of give us a little short bio about who you are.
All right, my name's Scott Power. I created the Ohio History Hunter about 4 years ago. In the area that I live, a lot of the farms were being bought up and bulldozed over and subdivisions going in. I didn't like seeing the fact that I knew there was history being lost. And so I decided to create the Ohio History Hunter, work with the communities, and see if I couldn't uncover some lost relics before they're under asphalt or concrete or under someone's house. And later on, we'll have a chance to talk about some things under houses. But yeah, I work with mayors, townships, historical societies, museums, businesses, private property owners. I do a lot of historical sites. I was asked to go down to Glendale Cemetery in Akron. My co-hunter and I went down to the chapel for the Soldiers Chapel there and detected around that chapel. They wanted to see if there was anything of relic, significance there. So that was one of the things that we've done.
Wow.
Scuba diving, drones.
Are you a diver? Wow.
Are you guys picking that up? We got a severe. Hang on, we got a severe storm coming through my alert. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No,
I thought it was that reporter calling in trying to get you on there.
Right.
Just conference us in. Just conference us in.
But yeah, 4 years that I've had the Ohio History Hunter page. I've been lucky enough to build a reputation that I do what I say and I say what I do, and I've already found pretty much so all the coins. There's a few things I would like the metal detector find, but I've already had that joy. So like when you called me up and said, hey, can I go metal detector? Yeah, at this point in just 4 years, I get more enjoyment out of seeing others get the enjoyment out of it. I still love it, and I'll keep doing it for many years. But that's like when I work with my program. I have the Youth Adventures program where I metal detect with autistic and Down syndrome kids. One of the gentlemen got sponsored by Bounty Hunter Metal Detectors, as a matter of fact. So, that worked out pretty good.
And Scott, what's that called? Youth what?
Youth Adventures program. I don't have a site or anything set up for it. I'll give a brief description.
Sure.
Anyone 100% free, autistic or Down syndrome that's into metal detecting or maybe into metal detecting without knowing. We have free hunts where the local community of metal detectors, once again, being a great community, donate coins that they find that they may not want to keep or are willing to donate. And we have a field we call the Field of Dreams, and we go out and seed the field. And thanks to Bounty Hunter Metal Detectors, they have donated 5 metal detectors,
Wow.
youth metal detectors, for us to use. And the families can come out and see if this is possibly something that they would be interested in investing in without investing in it. And it's also a therapy, believe it or not. The autistic children who normally kind of have maybe outbursts and all seem to calm down. They're more concentrated. You're showing some pictures of the autist. That's an autistic young man right there.
Mm-hmm,
These kids love this, and they are very good. That's my buddy right there. He was just on Fox 8 News in Cleveland with me. We were talking about his sponsorship and how good of a hunter is. That's Mr. Aaron. That's my buddy.
All right. Looks like he's having a great time.
Yeah, yes, sir. He is very good. Believe it or not, he is very good.
Excellent. Well, what made you kind of get into that and start that? I mean, it's very commendable of you.
I in 2013, I believe it was, took off on a 10,000-mile bicycle trek to raise awareness for autistic bicycle group. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what the group name was, but it was for recycling bicycles and donating bicycles to autistic children and all that might not have the ability to get one, and also working with them, teaching them how to ride and all. So in my 13 states I made it through, I ended up getting hit by a car, and that was the end of that. Oh, so wow. I don't know. again, when you've done a lot of things in your life, and I mean, I've whitewater cave kayaked, parachuting, scuba diving. I mean, I've done a lot, and there's these kids that, like Mr. Aaron, that man has the ability with Down syndrome, has the ability to metal detect what I feel like as good as I can metal detect. And it's just amazing. I love sitting back and just watching the smile on these kids' faces. And to me, that now is the true treasure. There's a lot of things you can find metal detecting, but I have found that seeing these kids smile and the joy that they get out of it. And like I said, it's 100% free. Parents are there with them. They can try out a metal detector. So far, everyone has showed up with a metal detector.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was out there and detecting with you, Scott, I had talked. Relics Radio is absolutely going to be sending you some stuff for that type of event. Our podcast is a lot about the community, bringing the community together, asking questions. It's about all of us in the community, and we've had some great comments already in the chat here about why you're doing what you've done, and we want to be able to support you as well. So. We'll be sending you some stuff that you can give away, you can use for the event and those kind of different things, because it's amazing. I mean, not only is it getting people that are challenged in some different ways, involved in some other things. That's the next generation of all of us treasure hunters. I don't care what kind of challenges they have. They're gonna be carrying it on. Right. And you being able to support them like that, absolutely incredible. And you've got great turnout, and a great event overall. So,
well, if you go to any of the historical societies, you will see that they're only older people. I mean, you don't have the youth involvement. And so what I try and do with my page is make it fun, make it entertaining, to get the kids out of, get them out from in front of the computer, get them outside. Go look for bottles, go look for old bricks, go metal detecting, just get outside and go enjoy a park or something.
Yeah. Agreed. I love it.
Yeah, it's important for sure. There's not enough young people. Look at that. I'm enjoying it.
That's Modern Day Pirates, a plug for them guys. I called them up and I said, look, I'm putting on this event for the kids. 4 of them showed up, 3 of them showed up, I forget. Anyway, a group of them showed up and they were standing around, and I handed them a metal detector and they were actually finding stuff. So there you go.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome.
If people are listening, Scott, right now, what do you say is and they kind of want to help support what you're doing with these kids in this youth program? What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Well, let me go ahead and start right here. I do not take donations. I do not want anybody's money. That is not everything is free. And my research team, the OHH research team, we essentially handle the funds. Now, we do have outside guys that come in and they'll say, look, I've got some silver coins or whatever I want to donate. One of my clients that you hunted with gave that on their property. They gave me a bag of coins for the hunt. I mean, that's things that I can put in the ground, relics, something small, trinkets or whatever that I can put in the ground for these kids to find. That's in. Now that they got my field plowed and corn growing in it, I kind of need a new spot. I did have permission up at one of the beaches in Cleveland, but the permission that I got didn't go far enough up the food chain. So when I showed up to have my first Youth Adventures hunt, we were literally shut down in the parking lot. So it was rather embarrassing, and I'm sure there were some people really upset with me, but things happen. I did the best I could, and it's working, and we're having kids come out and do this.
Good.
This is the first time we've had you on, Scott, and you just brushed over it, so I have to back up and ask you, did you say Ohio History Hunter Research Team?
Yes, sir. I do have a research team.
You have a team? Wait, no, stop right there. Tony, how come we don't have a team, a research team?
I don't
I'm
know.
Sorry to stop you there, Scott,
I
but
don't know.
we need a
Now-
research team.
Todd Holtzman's been with me for 3 years. He specializes in doing bell towers and working on the bells in several states. He goes up into the bell towers, does whatever he does with the bells. It's quite amazing. He took me, matter of fact, in downtown Cleveland, the brick church, stone church. He took me, and I have the only video of us climbing up in the tower of that church there on the square at downtown Cleveland. So that's on my page. I'm not just trying to plug my page, but if you wanted to see that, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I then have Justin Lynn, which he's the founder of Lake Erie Fluorescent Mineral Hunters. He's my mineralist. He specializes in fossils, geology, minerals, kind of my rock guy. Usually I lose him from metal detecting and he's off crawling through someone's creek or something. Then there's Troy. You got to hunt with Troy, and Troy is one amazing metal detectorist. He specializes in Civil War, and he's one of the guys that does the research and the old maps and like that. And he'll go out into the middle of a cornfield and pull up silver coins. I still, it's kind of like, was that a ghost or not a ghost? I don't know. I can't explain it, but I don't have that kind of luck.
He was actually at a campground. He came and hunted with us for a couple hours, but he went back to a campground. He was out there prospecting.
Yes,
so,
he's a gold hunter, Ohio gold hunter.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So we might have to have him on so we can talk about prospecting.
And
a lot of supporters that do that as well.
Yeah, he's in the talk. I'm not sure if it's the Discovery Channel or who it is, so I may be overstepping my bounds and talking about it. But I think next year he might be going up into Canada doing a gold thing for a possible TV show. I don't know.
Oh, into Canada, eh? Okay.
Yeah.
I know some people up there filming some stuff. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to him if he does. I tell you, you sound like you got a good team surrounding you. Tony.
Well, I wanted to cover more bases than just everybody metal detects, and that's all we do. When we went to Serpent Mound, it was a good round area of researchers to have for that trip.
Yes.
Well, we touched base on the Serpent Mound. Do we want to talk about that?
No, you can.
I have no idea what you're talking about when you say the Serpent Mound, and many of our listeners might not either. You want to talk about that a bit?
Okay, Jeff. One day my phone rang and I answered it, and it was Jeffrey Wilson. Jeffrey Wilson is a multi-books author on Serpent Mound. He's a renowned expert on the mound. Contacted me and asked me if I'd like to come down and metal detect the original Serpent Mound farm property, the old homestead foundation area there. So off-site, not on the park. So we went down and he gave us a tour, and we met some other people, researchers down there, and they told us some things that just, I don't know, blew my mind, really. I think all four of us rode home kind of shell-shocked, not a lot of talking, and no one talked about it. It was kind of like, you knew everybody was thinking about it, but wasn't nobody talking about it. So, it was a real shock to know that things like that do happen.
Yeah. Describe to us, I grew up in Ohio and we were taught this kind of stuff in elementary school and middle school. Mm-hmm. What is the Serpent Mound in Peebles?
Well, they say it's solar alignment deal and all, and it could be. I didn't have anyone really down there that said that it was any different. you hear a lot of stories about it. Nighttime, it glows and weird things. But I'll jump right on into the point. Is
Yeah.
they did some work down there and had to do, I don't know, about 200 foot of trenching to run some water lines or drain lines or something. And they didn't uncover a few hundred or a few thousand artifacts. They uncovered tens of thousands of artifacts. And my team stood there and talked to a person who stood there and watched what was happening. And people were just picking up stuff and putting it in their pocket.
And you're talking relics, you're talking Native American relics.
Native American pottery. They
Okay.
found several more bodies. There's 2 bodies that are under the walkway. I don't want to give away too much because there's a book coming out from somebody, so I'm going to be careful in everything I say. But in the there was a LiDAR done on the head of, or the egg of the serpent there, or what they call the egg. And there's definitely something in the dead center of it that's showing up on LiDAR. They had a sinkhole that opened up near the tail of the serpent, about 100, 150 feet away from it. And the first thing I said was, what did they find in it? And he said, exactly. And he said, nothing. They backed dump trucks up and filled it in. He goes, but there's another one that's getting ready to open up. So it's the museum. If you've ever been there, they have the dioramas and all like that, and some of the relics. No, now the museum's just signs now. It's pretty much so all it is. Going there, I don't want to discourage anyone from going there. The dates on the signs are wrong, but I don't want to discourage anyone from going there. It is an amazing, it is amazing. It's just the story behind it and the cover-ups and such. It's just to actually see it instead of it being, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. No, it's, and even off of the park there, human remains are being found. So you go out of the park anywhere in a quarter mile around Serpent Mound and you can find body remains.
Wow.
It's an interesting site for sure. And there's a lot of history to it, a lot of unknown.
Right.
And one of the questions I asked you was, what does the state say about all these different things? And you kind of dropped a bombshell on me. What did you say about that?
It's private property.
Yeah. How crazy is that? Something, again, the historical side of it, you would think that maybe the state would have some sort of involvement in it.
Well, no, the state, that's gone when we did the reparations and all on when it comes to the Native Americans. We now, for Serpent Mound, there's a gentleman, a Native American out in Utah who makes the decisions on what goes on in Ohio at Serpent Mound.
Interesting. It's rough.
Yeah.
It's difficult and
well, working with anything Native American, it seems like it's kind of I don't know. People kind of taboo, I guess, and all. Because I had one guy tell me that I could go out onto a property. Said you can only go this one day, and you can never go back again. He said we plowed over an Indian mound, and the post is on my page of the tailgate of my truck, and a 5-hour period is just covered with arrowheads, tools, workings and all like that just crazy. And I did call the guy up after that, and I was like, look, can I go back? And he said no. So I guess
crazy.
No means no. But right. Yeah, I do locate mounds, but yeah, it seems that when you start talking about Native American mounds, a lot of even property owners kind of get about it.
Yeah.
Is it unique? Well, is it the only one shaped like a serpent that we know of, or?
Well,
this is the first I've heard of it.
No, as I believe it's the only one like that. I could be wrong, but there is. Someone said, like I said, I'm no expert on any of this, but I thought someone said that they had found possibly another one in Ohio. That I don't know, but no, I think this is definitely the only one in Ohio, and I believe the only one in the world. But again, I'm no expert.
Yeah, wow.
Now it is. They were trying to get it on Serpent Mountain on the World Heritage
right
list there. So I mean, it's it's definitely a remarkable spot, and we're going to see him. And you'll the park pay to parking is like $8, I think.
Yeah,
even though it was supposed to be free to the public.
Right. Yeah, I just pulled it up just to kind of see if there's any other ones worldwide. I didn't come up with anything, but it says it's the world's largest surviving effigy mound, a type of earthwork in the shape of an animal built by prehistoric Native Americans. It's a massive snake-like structure stretching 1,348 feet long and is considered a National Historic Landmark. While the exact origins and purpose of the mound are still debated, it is believed to have been built by the Fort Ancient culture around 1070 CE, though some evidence suggests it could be older. So
yeah, now that was the reason why there's the discrepancy is they did 3 core samples, and one core sample came back with one date, the next one came back with a really old date, then the next one came back and it matched the other one. And they said, well, right there, we're done. We don't have to do any more testing. We have 2 that matched up, even though they also had a core sample that came up with a much older date. So that's, and there's not been any other real research work done down there, and they won't let you. Boy, I ran into some mess just posting that I got permission from my wife to go down there, and I had emails and phone calls, and I mean, you'd have thought I'd set a fire to a church or something. I mean, I've never come across anything like that. I mean, I deal with some crazy stuff sometimes, but a lot of things I do is also not on Facebook or any of my other pages. Not everybody's into the public and sharing what's going on their property. So, I mean, unfortunately, I do some pretty cool stuff that I don't get to share, but I still enjoy what I do. Love sharing it, and it seems like the people enjoy what I share.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a lot of followers over on Facebook there.
Yeah, it's like that a lot. I think a lot of people, we run into that a lot too. Both Tony and I are like social media people, and we like to share what we can. But yeah, you get a lot of landowners, homeowners to be like, nah, you know what? And rather you not, no problem,
Yeah.
Always a conversation to be had. But
well, the thing is you're asking permission, so you can't get upset about anything if you're told no. You just got to accept it. I mean, it's kind of hard to go around and say, hey, can I dig holes in your front yard? Especially if some guy who's got a, pretty decent yard. The first thing he's going to say is get off my yard.
Yeah.
But I'll share this because maybe somebody out there is having a hard time finding places to hunt and all. I built Ohio History Hunter by first going to a historical society, Litchfield, Ohio. They had a circle park there, and I went to the township and in the historical society, and I said, look, can I metal detect that? Everything I find, I'll give to you. Sure, they gave me the permission. Then I went out and metal. It ended up being like $70, almost $80 and change, silver coins and all, and some relics I put into a nice display case and all. And then took it to the township at one of their meeting nights and filmed me going before the town and the trustees there at the township and presenting them what I found. Instantly helped build my credit. Doing posting what I was doing and all, and showing that, and this is another thing a lot of you probably won't like. I don't keep what I find. I don't. Everything goes to the property owner. Now I have property owners that say, you know what, that's cool and all, I just wanted to see, keep it. And when I go like Litchfield or Hinckley, which you went and hunted with me. I went on
Yep.
their community page and I posted that, hey, I'm the Ohio History Hunter. I'm doing work with your historical society, which we did because Todd was putting in their clock. And, you know, if you have an 1800s property and wouldn't mind me or my team coming out and metal detecting and seeing what's fine, you get to keep it. I've got over 50 acres just in Hinckley, Ohio. So, you know, that's why it wasn't too much. It was just the fact that the wife going to let me take a little time off from work to go metal detecting.
That's always the biggest challenge.
So
right
that was the main call was, can I do this? And I did fib to her. I hope she's not watching, but she's like, well, why is he coming in? Is he coming to see you? I said, oh yeah, he's flying in just to see me. Well,
Oh yeah.
if he's doing that, then yeah, you need to take the time off and take that man out. I was like, that's what I need to do.
There you go.
I absolutely wanted to come in and visit you. I'm not gonna lie.
You're more than welcome to.
Yep, I got a picture
telling
here
what
of
I'm gonna
us.
have you. What's that?
I got a picture there of us after
Yep.
we got done detecting and everything. Like I
That
said,
was right after you pulled that dime out.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. Yeah,
You
we
found
what's that?
He
With
found
the
a
barber?
dime?
I found a barber. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I found a barber dime and a couple mercs and
Wow,
some
nice.
some
Well, you did a good
Rudy's
job
and-
because let me tell you, I hunted that front yard there. But
well, you had some distractions.
yeah, that's what I was going to get to. I guess you would say client had a grandson that was going into the first grade, and so he said that my buddy there could get a good clean hunt in. I kind of did the distract work, and me and him dug up matchbox cars in the front yard, and then you came behind me and got all the corn.
No, he was a really cool kid.
Yeah, well, there he is. All right. Yeah, and I'm doing work for them. I got the community together. They've got heavy equipment and everything for me. And we're going to be moving at obelisk sandstone property marker or whatever it is. We don't know. It's about 8 foot tall by 18 inches by 18 inches. And we're going to dig that out, move it because the road department's coming through and putting a roundabout. And they're just going to come and bulldoze it over. So that's another one of my community projects. And I got on that while you were metal detecting.
I know. I was really excited to hear that, especially in the landowner. She had a house.
Yeah, they were fifth generation.
Amazing. When you meet those kind of people that have such a strong tie to the community for as long as they've been there, it's incredible to talk with them and deal with them and then help them out. Now they had the corner house, they had kind of the garage or the gas station next to it.
Yes.
And diagonally they had this open field, and that's where that obelisk was. Mm-hmm. And she said, I don't know what you can do about this. And she took you over there, showed it to you. And
have you got a picture of that?
You know what? I don't.
Okay.
I don't have that. Nope. But
it is cool looking though.
Yeah, she had asked you, you know what? I don't know what you can do to help me out. And I know you posted some stuff, and then boom, you had people that were jumping with heavy equipment right away trying to help you out.
Yep. And that's great. You know, that says a lot about a community when you ask for help and people show up or say, what can I do? And, I try and help anybody out, that, needs it. That's why I'm not out here trying to race and be better than anybody else. I'm definitely not no expert in anything. Maybe in promoting myself, but I just try and motivate people to get outside and have an adventure.
Did that obelisk have any writing on it or anything? Like
no, but it's all hand chiseled and all. You'll have to go on my page. It wouldn't be too far back of a post that I had done it. But yeah, no, it just has the hand chiseled. It's kind of decorative. And someone in the community commented that they believe that there's more on that property, and the Historical Society is going to be doing the paperwork, background research, and see if they can't find out anything about what these are. I'll be posting updates and pictures and videos of it on my page for people to keep up with.
Wow.
Awesome. And I'll post the link to Scott's Facebook page here in the chat. It's also in the description of the podcast here too. So if you guys go over there, check Scott out. 107,000 followers over there on Facebook.
Actually, that number's going down. I mean, anybody that works in this, I've got so many fake accounts on my page. Like, you know, I noticed can you send me a friend request? I delete. But yeah, I mean, I've built that following by working for it. Believe me.
Yeah. No, that's a good support though.
Right.
You talk about people coming together when you ask for things and coming. Like when I first met Tony, I was just on this forums and I was like, I've got this park. They've found quite a bit of silver in there. And Tony immediately was like, hey man, I'll come help you dig that out. Oh man, what a guy. That's so, that's so cool.
Yeah, and he invites me up to his area there, and the first thing he finds is a silver coin. Wants it to me. Hey, look what I found. Oh,
first silver coin ever. And he's like, this is
turning out to be a great you're not going to say anything about the dog tags?
The dog tags. We can certainly talk about the dog tag. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first house, and we won't give away too much information because it's number one, it's an incredible site that you have permission on.
Mid 1840s.
Yeah. So we were out there. Did I tell you it was humid? I don't know if I had told that part of the story. It was humid there.
You mentioned it.
Everybody's kind of going off in their own direction and everything, and I kind of make an orbit around the outside of the mowed area. There's like some woods that kind of circle around the house and the property, and I'm kind of going right at the edge of the woods there, and I come around the corner and I hear great tone. I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna get myself a silver quarter. It sounded great, screaming. I dig up, there's like 3 dog tags all together on the same ring, like dog tags for a dog, not a soldier dog tags. And I look at it and it says like 2010. I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, not very old, you know, and dogs are out running around, they lose their dog tags and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't think anything of it. And of course, you know, at the end, as we're getting ready to pack up and go around, to the next permission, and we show the landowner everything. And I said, oh yeah, I've got these dog tags too. And she says, oh yeah, that's where he buried, you know, brown dog or BD or whatever black dog. Oh yeah. So Ohio Relic Hunter, you know, dog grave. I didn't see any bones. There was no bones connected. There was no collar. Like I wasn't.
But he got all the dog tags. Every one of them.
I got them all. Absolutely. Because I'm going back over. There wasn't any other tones left in there. I was getting them all.
No, bone don't ring up.
It doesn't.
I felt so bad.
Oh, she was all cool about it. Yeah, Blackie. I think Black or Blackie or something was one of the dogs.
They called him BD. Yeah, Black Dog.
Yeah, Black Dog.
Yeah. Troy says, yeah, it was Black Dog. But just it's kind of a funny story because she's like, I guess I should have told you guys about that. And then I just felt bad because I'm like, oh dear Lord, I just dug up this lady's dog. You know, she's gonna kick Scott off the property now. I just screwed up the whole thing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Nah, I got that permission. You heard what she said when we first got there. I was like, this is what we're gonna do. She goes, I don't care what you do. You do anything you want to do.
She
love property owners like that, man. Just
and then the second permission was a fresh permission, and that's the one that the obelisk was on. And she was the same way. She's like, anytime. She goes, you know where the place is. And we showed up, and it's an old gas station, and we're waiting on her to show up. But we're walking around the gas station. There's these old insulators everywhere.
Yeah, old insulators, old bottles,
just sitting on top of the surface.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. Really, really nice location. With some history. But again, that's a landowner, because you've built out this community. That's a landowner that reached out to you, that said, hey, I've got this property, you know, you want to come out and detect it.
Yeah, so, that was, both of those actually were contacting me and asking me to come to their property.
Yeah.
I very rarely will do a cold knock or anything like that. I don't know. I just, something about going to someone's house and knocking on the door. And in today's
Yeah.
world, you know, you never know what you're going to get answering the door. But and as a funny little joke on that, I've had in the 4 years I've been doing this, I've had 2 ladies schedule me to come out to the property and metal detect it, and the husband not know anything about it and find out about it.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that doesn't go well when
no,
the
no,
husband gets
especially
home.
when you're just wanting the metal detected. You know, and the husband's like, "Oh, no, you're not." And I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm not. I'm not going to argue with you."
Right?
I've seen it go
Right.
the other way too. You know,
Yeah,
Tony and I have
Where
had that.
where the man gets well, sure, the
yeah.
male's the man's like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten? You know, I'm interested. What you guys do, what you're gonna find, and the wife comes home. They ain't digging in my yard. They ain't digging in my flowers. You
What
get
are you
them out of
thinking?
here.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, I've got a 100-year-old house here, and the wife, every time she comes home and I'm out in the yard, she goes, "Why are you still metal detecting the house?" And every time I'll get a new piece of equipment or whatever,
Yeah.
like now I
Yeah.
got my Fisher F75. I'm out in the yard, and and every time I get something new, I find new stuff. So I don't
Right.
know.
It's a great machine, that F75.
Yeah, I was very lucky dealing with Russ with Fisher and Bounty
yeah.
Hunter. It's a great guy right there out in Texas.
Sure is. Yeah, Russ is a great guy. Really good guy.
He
Him
reached
and his
out to
wife.
me. Yeah, he reached out to me and asked me, you know, if I wanted a sponsorship, and I was like, sure. So, you know, we've had a couple of year relationship, and hopefully, I'm doing right by Bounty Hunter and Fisher metal detectors. Go to your local store or order online.
That's right.
They're good machines, and Russ is a good guy for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, you know, yeah, you can go out. Matter of fact, that 3D new metal detector, I contacted them.
Yeah, from
They
Mine
said,
Lab, right? Was it
the
Mine
one
Lab?
that has the computer screen, you
The
can see.
Indenio, Nocta
Yeah.
Indenio, that one.
Nocta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got $9,000.
Sure. Yeah.
They didn't send
Yeah.
you two?
Well, I asked first for a sponsorship. And then I asked, well, I have good credit. Do you do payment plans? And I was thinking 4 years from now, I'll be like, yeah, 2 more payments and this metal detector will be mine. And it'll be 3 years outdated.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to sell
I
two
mean,
of my cars.
the machines every year. I mean, if you go 3 or 4 years, you know, you're kind of behind on the technology. But I mean, I started off with a cheap in metal detector, and I think anybody can use a piece of junk. And if you learn that machine in practice, I mean, metal's metal.
Agreed.
The detector's going to
Agreed.
pick that up. You just got to figure out, is that what you want to dig?
Right. Yep. You got to figure out what the machine's telling you and whether you
Yep.
want to dig it or
Yep.
not. Absolutely. Yep. And kind of speaking out of where you started out, when you got interested in metal detecting, was it kind of a metal detecting type of thing, or was it the history that brought you into it? Like, how did you start out, and how did everything evolve from there?
Well, I used to like fishing, so there's part of the reason. I mean, it's essentially dirt fishing. So I mean,
Sure. Yeah.
um,
I mean, were you interested in
the history
in
part,
school?
I'm not looking for coins. I don't find
Yeah.
coins and sell coins or anything like that. I find them and the property owner gets them, or I'll give them to a kid if the property owner lets me have them. So it's got to be the history, but I think it's the thrill of the hunt. I've got this coming Sunday. The Strongsville Board of Education contacted me, and this Sunday I will be going to look for the time capsule that they cannot find. Yeah, it's a 25-year time capsule, and they think they know the area, but they're not sure. So that's just one of the little side things I get to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool. I have a little bit of a ADD problem, and the not staying on one thing and being able to jump from like fighting, you know, attorneys over 1,800 graves that they're fixing to build a house over, or the next day you're metal detecting, you know, some 1800s historical house for a museum, and the next day you're out chest deep in a river recovering relics from an old sandstone quarry. There's so much to do. I mean, how could you get bored when there's so many angles that you can go at this? I mean, if you're in it for the history, go at it
It's
100
there.
ways. If you're in it for the metal detecting, well, that's great. I mean, everybody loves the metal detect, don't they? I hope. But yeah, the thrill of the hunt and the history of it is why I did it. So.
Yeah.
How much time have you spent sort of going to historical society meetings and rubbing elbows with those folks and other museums and such?
Not as much as you would think I would have to. In fact, the Strongsville Historical Society, because of the work I'm doing in Strongsville, they will be meeting me on site Sunday when I'm there at the school. I've done past projects with the Historical Society there, but so far as having to go to, I mean, occasionally I'll get invited. Hey, we're having a dinner. We'd like to have you come out. And, because I mean, if I'm doing work in their community, they want to meet me. They want to talk to me. They want to know what's going on. And that's cool. I have no problem with that. And I get to eat some pretty good food sometimes.
Right.
Got to go out to Millersburg too. There's good Amish buffet out there. Maybe it wasn't Millersburg, but we were out there.
Okay. California
awesome.
Boy, moved to Colorado, been to Michigan once. Amish buffet.
Yeah.
You gotta explain it. Like, is it what it sounds like? I mean,
yeah, it's a restaurant that Amish. I had incredible flank steak. Believe it or not, it was amazing.
A flank steak.
It was called if Nick's still here in the live chat, I think it was called Mrs. Yoder's Kitchen, something like that.
All right.
It was.
Well, you think that the food and everything would be pretty fresh. I mean, I'm sure that
it was local beef, local chicken.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't like McDonald's having some 18-wheeler back up to the back door
with a bunch of filler, barely meat.
Yeah, right.
Tubs of lard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was in Mount Hope, Ohio. Mrs. Yoder's Kitchen.
Yoder's Kitchen.
Wow. Amazing. Yep. Anyways, quick plug for them.
Sure.
There you go.
It was really
interesting.
Good. Flank steak. Get the flank steak buffet.
Well, Scott, you were talking about giving, your stuff to the landowners and stuff. That's awesome, and the one thing is that the people you get in with, they know the neighbors, you know what I mean? And
yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. I started off with one house, the Baker's house. They did one of the news stations did a special on me metal detecting the Baker's house. And before it was done, I had 8 literally joining neighbors in that area. I'm not sure how well this is going to come up, but this is a topographical, and all the yellow these are all a neighborhood, and all those is what I ended up with.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, if you just treat people good anyway, good things will come to you. If you're a butthole, you'll find.
Well, yeah, your name spreads one way or the other, whether it's positive or
right.
negative.
You want sunny side up, or but no, I just found that just doing what I do, be honest about it, and if you have to butt heads, sometimes I butt heads, and in the end, it seems like people, like my fights I'm having with the cemeteries. Seems pretty much so that people, support me on what I'm doing. But I mean, I'm not no activist. I'm not, I see something and is wrong like that. I'll call a township out, because that's what the community is supposed to do, is say, if there's a problem, let's straighten that out. But, sometimes they just don't want to do it for whatever reason.
Yeah. I was going to say, Ken's been on some Facebook groups for communities and has gotten some permissions as well. And, we've done an episode on the podcast of, how to get more permissions, or, just kind of a off the cuff type of thing. And that definitely has come up. And if people aren't using those resources to get the permissions, And then what I like, I know it's happened before for Ken as well as me on these different communities. Those people that have approached you, they get back on that community and say, oh, he's awesome.
Yep.
Karen so and so. I
Yep.
tagged Karen and you should let him come out to your property.
Yep.
And it starts to snowball from there, but in the positive side. So do what's right. Be an ambassador for the hobby, and like I said to the first lady, when we left her house, I said, I really want to thank you for allowing us to come out here, because without your permission, we can't go out and do this, what we love.
Exactly.
So we appreciate you a ton. And that goes a long ways. I mean, just being a good all around person,
Right. I mean, you got to show the gratitude. You can't just be like, all right, and jump in your vehicle and roll out. Spend the time and talk to them, because believe me, the happier they are about the experience and the more excited they are, the more likely, like you said, that they're going to say something to their neighbor or go on the community page and say, hey, it was awesome. This is what they found. I suggest you do it. But
Right.
I probably have at least one or two a week, if not more, people contact me. Hey, I've got property. And unfortunately, I got an email today and I was like, oh, that sounds like a great spot. And so I Googled, the town, and it's 3.5 hours away. And I'm like, okay. So, but it's a big state, and I'm only, one person with my guys, and, they do their own things also. Only, we do our hunts on the weekends from time to time. Sometimes not all of us make it, but, because we got what's going on with our other history work or whatever.
Well,
isn't it the best when the landowner enjoys the history?
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
if you can educate them on something, and then they're so into it. Some of the best properties Tony and I have hunted is at the end when the landowner was just like totally transfixed on what we were telling her about her own property.
Yep. I've had people ask me, we bought this house and we're not sure on the date. The date says on the paperwork 1900. Well, when I hear 1900, that sends up kind of a yellow flag.
Yep.
And the reason is because when they started doing the census on keeping records of when houses were built and all, if they couldn't verify the actual date of when that house was built, they just wrote 1900. So a lot of the 1900 houses that I have found are actually a little older than that.
Yeah.
I remodel homes, and you were talking about the humidity. Today it was 86 degrees and the humidity was 70%. And right now it's a pretty good thunderstorm going on. So yeah, it's a little wet right now. So I don't know about that dry heat you guys supposedly have.
It's nice. You don't sweat like you do in Ohio.
You don't chafe.
Exactly. There's a lot of people in the chat right now that are talking about all the storms going on.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. A couple of times I've had to get up and hit. It comes across with the alert.
Yeah. Judy Collins just said front line of the storm came through North Olmsted.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it probably just went through because where I'm sitting at, probably about 5 minutes ago, it was pretty rough. But the roof's still on, so that's good news.
That's good. Yeah, Thin Blue Digger said his power's flickering.
Wow.
So, but he's a little bit further south of you, so it must be a pretty big storm with all.
Well, they were calling for tornado warnings and all, hail and whatnot. So it was, and it was a line that went, completely up to Lake Erie, all the way down below Ohio. So I mean, everybody got it, or is going to get it.
Yeah. I was looking at some of the questions that came in.
Yeah, real quick, while you're looking at that, Troy earlier had said that I figured out what that coin was. So, yeah, you remember that coin that I thought?
The mystery coin.
The mystery
found a
coin.
mystery coin, huh?
Well, he thought it was a large cent. I thought it was not a large cent. And so I posted a video of the heated debate that took place over what it was. And we didn't know. And then the homeowner walks by and goes, it's one of them slugs out of
Yeah.
Electrical
out of the electrical
box.
conduit. Yeah, one of them slugs. I just looked at him like, really, dude?
Come on,
No.
dude.
So what is
it's
it? What did we come up with?
I bought one of these.
Okay.
On my way home, I actually got on Amazon. It was like $16, and how I couldn't pass it up. So I measured it, and well, first off, I tried cleaning it when I got home before I measured it. There is no markings on it at all. I did some side light, did some water, did some brushing, did some tooth picking. I couldn't get anything off of it identifiable at all. But
Okay.
You say it's an electrical slug, I'm going to punch you.
Well,
I don't think it's an electrical slug. So then
no, it definitely wasn't one, because those have
copper.
crisp edges and all. This looked like this had coin edges, and it was slightly bigger than a silver quarter.
Yeah, so it's definitely a copper. I measured it, and then I did a search on the measurement size that I got.
Okay.
The only thing that I could come up with was a 1906 Canada penny.
Huh.
The measurements come out exactly for the diameter of a Canadian penny, and it had to be 1906. For some reason, that year was this exact measurement. So it was a little bit thick, what I thought too thick to be a Canadian penny, but no other diameter dimensions come up for that coin. So
now we find Canadian coins here quite regularly. I mean, that's not like out of the norm.
Right. And that's what I thought as well. Like, it could fit the area for sure, but
because I think some of the relatives or previous owners were from Sweden or something. So I mean, you got people from out of the country all through that property.
Yeah. It could be, it could not be. Heck if I know. But it was a cool find. I thought it was a largie. But it's still going to go in my display case as finding a coin,
and I get the credit for saying it was a foreign coin.
There you go.
Yeah, you're right. You did.
I did.
Yeah.
Scott, you ever find one of those Bank of Montreal tokens?
Oh,
no. There's a plethora of coins I haven't found. I just want to find one gold coin. That's, I don't care what it is, just a gold coin. I find silver all the time, and that's, like I said, I find coins, and all right, once you've dug up your 10th, 15th, 20th mercury, it's like, hey, it's a mercury dime, and okay. I mean, not that that's not exciting, but it's a mercury dime. You dug it up.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess I'm weird about that. That's why I think I get more enjoyment out of other people hunting and whatnot.
Yeah, for us, it's less about the find and more about what we discover surrounding the find. So either on the research we do to find permissions and discover something about this area that we knew nothing about previously, or we find something that we have to go research and figure out it's crazy.
Oh, that's definitely part of the metal detecting, because I mean, it starts when you find the target, or it can start when you're researching the land to go hunt. I mean, like the kids, when they find the whatever artifacts or coins that we give them, then they get to go home and they get to spend more time excited and amped up about it, doing the research on it, and you get to prolong the enjoyment of it.
Agreed.
And and it's educational. That's the thing too, is because you're kind of tricking the kids into being educational. You gotta learn that. You got to learn to read, and you got to do your research, and there's some math in there too. I got 25 cents, and so now I still can't afford a cup of coffee.
Look at Tony using a caliper, man. Who would have thought?
I know.
Hey, yeah, you know what? That's some deep thinking right there. And I bet how often have you came across that kind of a situation where you just couldn't figure it out?
Yeah.
I thought only because there was no identifiable marks on it, that was the only way I was going to be able to figure it out, was based on the size. So that's the route that I want. I really want to know what it is. I mean, we're in an old site in Ohio. So I mean, it could be 1700s. It could be anything. So I just really want to know what it is, again, because it's historical. Like it has a lot of value to me because of the history
Exactly.
Then not only identifying it, then you start going down the rabbit hole of, well, what's the story? How did it get there? Who had it? What
Yep.
was it used for? How did they
Yep.
drop it?
Yep.
Like all those different things. Then the story starts building from that point. So
Yeah, I look at so many 1800s maps of Ohio that when I'm riding down the road, I don't see the McDonald's there. Or the gas station. I see the old schoolhouse
Yep.
or something, or a road that used to be there that's no longer there. I mean, and I try and explain it to my wife when I'm driving and all, and she just looks at me like I really should get some therapy.
yeah, my
And
wife
she's
thinks
really
that-
excited. You guys invited me, to talk to y'all, because that just means that's one afternoon that she doesn't have to hear me.
I know.
I gotta give her a hard time, but let me tell you what, she fought me for a couple of years on OHH. It was taking up time. We're remodeling a house. We own a special needs English Bulldog sanctuary. Busy life and working full time.
Yeah.
And she is my biggest critic, but she will call me or text me at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning, and I've been at work since 6:30, 7 o'clock, and she'll be like, "Oh, you've got this fake account person commenting on this post. You need to get on there and take it." And I'm at work.
Yeah.
Or you misspelled this word. You need to go in there and fix that. And again, I'm at work, honey, and my boss is looking at me like, "What is it now?" I said, "The three-legged deer. Hey, we have a three-legged deer we've adopted, so we feed it apples."
Yeah, we can't. Sometimes we can't do what we do without the support of our significant
spouses.
others.
Oh
and our-
my gosh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great. But I want to get back to that caliper because I know Tony pretty well, and I'd be willing to bet you a 12-pack and a pizza.
All right.
Since he bought that caliper, he's been measuring everything around him. You see that manicore in the background? I bet you he knows the diameter of that shaft. I bet you he knows the diameter of the microphone he's buying. Tell me I'm wrong, Tony.
Hey, as
So,
long as he keeps it just in that room and he just measures stuff in that room.
He's like my middle finger. Let's see exactly what that middle
Let's
I
see.
know it, man. I know it.
Did you know that this pen is exactly 11.65 millimeters around?
Well,
Bet
I
you
do
didn't
now.
know that. You didn't know that. See,
Everything I
education
find
right
now, I'm
there.
going to find a pull tab, off a 76 volt Olympia can. He's going to run up and, well, let me check the diameter on that thing.
Oh man.
So now he's going to become a measuring freak.
You big measuring fool. That's where he's
Hey,
going to
I had heard people do this, and that's why they give those measurements
Yeah,
of
no, they
coins so
do.
you
They
can
do,
actually figure out what they are. So
Yeah, it
Wait,
is crazy. I mean, they give you the weight and everything. I mean, you could.
yeah. Well, I don't have
it-
my scale here. Everything is packed up in my storage unit because we're trying to sell our house and move. So I do have a scale as well that I could actually measure the weight on, and that was the next thing I was going to do with it to try and figure it out.
Now, my question to you, since you've done that before, is in weighing a coin, say a silver coin, that the face is worn off and all, don't you
Sure.
lose weight in that?
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
Yep.
can you not go by weight at that point?
I think there's a range sometimes on some of these identifiers.
There is, yeah. Yeah. And I was gonna say Tim Ildigger says you add or subtract a millimeter for wear on a coin.
Right. All right. So that's what I was getting at, is because
exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
Because I mean, if you're sitting there going, well, it's 6 millimeters, but this is 5 millimeters, but the face is all gone. You're like, well,
Yeah. The plows hit it a couple times.
It's a guide. Nothing is an exact science when you're talking about history. It's a guide. So,
well, Scott, you mentioned a couple of times. I really want to hear if you're willing to
Yeah.
talk about this cemetery issue.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned kind of, you'd been kind of getting into this
the
issue
Columbia
with the
Station
cemetery.
one.
What's it called?
Columbia Station.
Columbia Station.
Yeah.
Why don't we chat about that for a bit? I think our listeners would love to hear about that.
okay. The cemetery there in Columbia Station is actually an extraordinary cemetery. Beautiful, amazing for photography. There is soldiers from every war from pre 1776, I think of 1775. There's even an Alamo. A gentleman died at the Alamo. They got his headstone there, all the way up to World War II.
Wow.
And 2 years ago, I was there doing research, looking for our 1800s African American grave sites. And if you don't know, back in the 1800s, because of the race thing, African Americans were not buried inside of the white person or white people's cemeteries. They were normally buried on the outskirts of the cemetery. So I was contacted by a member of the community who said, well, you might want to go have a look around this cemetery. Well, I get out there, and every time I went back to that cemetery, I'd find 3, 4, 5 lost graves. There's videos of me digging inches off of fallen headstones of dirt, 2, 3 inch roots growing across the top of them. Well, after fighting with the township and button heads, and then I had to say, well, I'm just going to go and file a complaint with the state. They were out there and they got the cemetery cleaned up. Beautiful. I mean, it is beautiful. One of the most beautiful cemeteries, small ones like that I have visited. Well, I do before work stops at cemeteries and just share pictures from the cemeteries with people on my page. I call it my pre-work adventure. And I happen to decide, well, I'm close by, I'll swing by. I haven't been out there in a while and see what's going on. Well, the same trees and stuff, the same thing's happening again. They're not maintaining it. There's trees growing over the headstones. Almost all the, you go into the cemeteries, they have the metal markers like the World War II or whatever. It tells what war you're in. That place used to be packed full of them. There was 3 in the whole cemetery today when I got back from there. They've disappeared. Some of the headstones damaged. Trees and bushes growing over some of the headstones, and there's still headstones that are even embedded. Trees have like engulfed the headstones that are around the cemetery there. So I was contacted after I posted the video, kind of expressing my dislike on what I was seeing. I was contacted by a local reporter, so they're doing a special 15-minute deal interviewing me about the cemetery not being maintained and the issues there and why the township is refusing to keep the cemetery properly maintained. And again, I'm not an activist. I'm not a protagonist. I just see something that's wrong, and maybe it's morals, way I was raised, religious background, whatever. But the way we treat our dead, those that have gone before us, says a lot about a person and humanity. So,
agreed.
I will butt heads if I have to. I posted last week. I was at another cemetery. I posted beautiful pictures. One of the headstones had a obelisk on top, and it had fallen over. And I posted a picture of it. Wasn't complaining or anything. I was like, that's kind of sad. And a bunch of people were like, vandalism. I was like, no, it looks like the base shifted, and because it's a tall obelisk, it toppled over. I'm saying there's no vandalism. I think within like 2 hours, the North Olmsted was on my page going, we'll be out there and have that fixed by next week. Thank you for letting us know. And I thanked them and told them I look forward to working with them in the future. And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
But I've gone to town halls and, and quite nastily am treated. And just because for whatever reason, they can't put an employee an extra hour on doing some work in a cemetery. Because I could go out there right now and clean up what's there in probably 2 or 3 hours. But, you know, the reason why it got so bad in the first place was this right here. This is how it started.
Right.
So they're wanting to do an interview, and I guess they're wanting because we're having a rash of problems with vandalism and cemeteries not being taken care of. And it seems like every few years this little cycle rolls through of this, you know, and I guess it's this year that we're rolling through with the news and the vandalism and the maintaining of the cemeteries.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm into genealogy a lot, and I've done a lot of trips just to go find grave sites of my ancestors. And I'll always clean them up, you know, when I'm there.
Of course.
And there is a King, my last name is King. There's a King family grave site cemetery, small, in Chicago, in Illinois. And I haven't made the trip there yet, but somebody else in my family had, and it's all overgrown and dilapidated, and some stones. So a lot of them are hand carved. They're, covered over and stuff. So one of my goals, Scott, is to get out there and to try to get that back to a respectable position. You know what I mean?
Well, Tony witnessed a conversation I was having with a community there in a member there in Hinckley about the cemetery where it was of the four founding fathers of Hinckley, but the cemetery was located on private property. The current property owner is a former historian for the area. He went out to the cemetery that's on his property, mind you, and removed all the headstones and put them in his garage. Now, I was contacted, and what a amazing coincidence, as we were standing there talking to the people. The lady who had sent me the email about this and asked if I could do anything happens to walk up. Of course, my truck's got Ohio History Hunter. They'd seen that on there. So anyway, she comes over and she's like, I'm the one that sent you that. And I said, well, maybe someone, because it's been a couple of years since anyone, messed with them. I said, maybe someone from the outside, maybe can come in and bend an ear, or at least be able to go in and say, can I take pictures? The community wants to know, can you at least let me take pictures? And, they're either going to say yes, and they can say no. And what can I say other than have a nice day? But that's just some of the things I get asked to do in these communities.
Wow.
It's important.
And of course, every time you do one, it just, it's street perks, you're getting street cred. And that street cred is what gets people calling you and asking you to do these crazy adventures.
Yep.
Yep. That's true. That's a good thing to have. People know who you are and know where to get you. Well, look, Scott, you've been a great guest, man. I really appreciate you giving us your time. I was really looking forward to talking to you after talking with Tony. And it's been great, man. So thank you so much for coming on with us.
Hey, anytime.
Yeah. Hour and a half flies, doesn't it? we're already there. We can keep talking, I tell you. So,
right.
Any last words from you? And then what we'll do is put you down in the green room. We'll say our goodbyes on the air, and then we'll say our goodbyes to you off air, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
However you want to do it.
Yeah. So we'll give you last words until we put you down in the any words of wisdom for us before we put you down in the green room.
I guess in the metal detecting field or relic hunting and all, it comes down to your reputation. If you build a good reputation, people are more likely to say yes than those that'll say no. Do what you say you're going to do, be honest, and have fun. I mean, that's the whole point. We're all doing this because it is fun. I mean, not many of us are going to want to go out there and do something that's not fun. So I wish everybody the best. And if you don't follow my page, that's cool. I'm not out here begging anybody to follow me, but I am wishing everybody luck in their endeavors and their hunts. And maybe if you can reach out to me, we can go hunting together. Who knows?
That'd be great.
Thank you, everybody. And Tony, guys, anytime you're here in Ohio, you do not have to go look for a place to hunt. just give me an hour or two and I'll have an address for you, buddies.
Well, I keep hearing that there's nothing left in Ohio, though. So
Uh,
I don't know
All
why
the
we
people
want
in
to do
Ohio
that.
keep saying that.
well,
I-
there's nothing here, so just stay there in Colorado.
I'm still getting messages that tell me stay out of Ohio. I'm not going to say who keeps sending them.
Oh my God.
He's in the chat.
All right. Well, Scott, hold on a minute. We'll get right back to you down there.
All right, thank you, and
thanks, buddy.
nice seeing everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Scott. All right.
That was great.
And that guy, I started off the whole podcast by saying like he literally dropped what he was doing, made arrangements, got me out on some 1840s house. Like, he's a good dude, man. He's a good ambassador. We talk about the kids stuff and military stuff. Just a great ambassador, and I knew he'd be a great guest, and a great contact. And if any has things out there in Ohio, reach out to Scott and get a hold of him, and take care of those cemeteries, take care of each other in the community, and all that kind of stuff. So great guest, man.
Yeah, it was great.
Yep.
His work with the autistic population,
Yeah,
really impressive.
kids. Oh man.
When I used to teach in martial arts, I had a group of some kids with Down syndrome that came in, and they were the I don't know, handlers, I guess you would say they were in a home, and they would say, can you bring them on and show them some stuff? And I said, sure. And took a lot of patience and stuff. And they were just like, oh my gosh, at the end of it, they were just like almost crying, these chaperones. Yeah. And they were just like, we've never seen him get that excited or be so focused. And you were so patient with them and all this stuff. And it really made me feel like on cloud nine, because I was able to give that, to that kid and see how he was receiving it and how much excitement he got out of it. So it was really cool.
I know there's some programs out there, we've talked about it, helping former veterans, in getting into metal detecting, autistic kids, Down syndrome. I mean, helping all those people out there, really expanding our community out there and just getting involved. Fantastic stuff. And real good stuff there.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get out of here. I know everyone listening, you got to figure out how to get on the Discovery Channel and view the Discovery Channel. Like, you've got at least a couple weeks until you need to definitely know how to get on the Discovery Channel. Why is that?
We kind of dropped a little secret out on social media today. So Ken and I did an episode of Expedition Unknown, and that's coming out here in a couple weeks over on Discovery, July 2nd. It's a Wednesday. So you guys need to make sure, if you're still listening, I know we got some people still here live with us. Get over on our social media. We've got pictures. We're going to be disclosing and putting out a lot more stuff as we're leading up to July 2nd. Yeah. And maybe even do some interviews about the show. Fingers crossed on that one. And just some stuff coming up about it. It was a great experience, great time for us. And we want to share it with everybody out there too. So,
so stay tuned. More to come on that. What else you got, bud? Let's get out of here. What else you got?
Yep. Just if you're interested in anything I'm up to, type in 5280 Adventures over in the Google, and you'll find me over on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, kind of all that. I'm posting stuff, having fun, interacting with people, and just really enjoying the community. So check me out over there. Leave me a message, and I'll definitely reply back to you.
Grandma's baroque.
That too. You can find me everywhere over at Adventures in Dirt, or my other website called I Know How to Deal with Wires and Electricity.com. It's a great site. You'll go over there. You see exactly how professional I am with all this technology stuff. So Adventures in Dirt. You can find me anywhere on social media, right here on Relics Radio every Wednesday night. If you guys go out, go find the good stuff. Tell me about it. Be safe, be good, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to Relics Radio. We will see you back here next week for another exciting guest. Until then, get out and dig it all.